friends, this is Julie Tillman, and today I'm going to be sharing a inked blending tool background using Distress Oxide inks, and I'm using Sweet and Sassy stamps today. The colors are Worn Lipstick, Ripe Persimmon, and Spice Marmalade. And if you want a softer look, in my original card I used Sponge Sugar, and so that'll give you a softer, more blended look. And so I am just taking the ink blending tool, inking it up in the color, pouncing off a little bit on my mat to make it softer, and then randomly stamping it onto or pouncing it onto my card, and then just repeating with different colors and blending. Then I take a water bottle and spritz lightly and blot that off with a paper towel, and then I thought it needed a little more blending, so I just added some more with the ink that was already on the tools and spritzed again and blotted off. And then I'm going to heat set that just a little bit just to make sure it's dry before I die cut with the infinity rounded rectangle dies. And then I'm going to use the all-in-all set and the itty bitty mini alpha, and I laid those out so that I'm going to have a sentiment that says God is good all the time. And I did everything but the is on my Misty stamping tool, and now I'm going to emboss that by inking it up with Versamark ink. And I ran my little anti-static tool over it to begin with so that the ink will just, or the embossing powder, when I put it on there, will only stick to the Versamark ink and not to the background of my card. And then I'm just heat setting that until it magically turns into this beautifully embossed sentiment. And I'm going to repeat those same steps and add that little is word to finish it off. And now I'm just going to use a pencil to mark off the corners so I can do a little placement of the stamps from Genuine Love. And this little builder set is so fun. I'm using Mowed Lawn for the leafy sprigs, and I'm just stamping them in the corners where I'm going to put that panel. And then I overstamped the smaller sprigs with Twisted Citron and the leaf die, or not die, leaf stamp. And now I am going to do the roses, and I did the same technique of just pouncing some of that ink onto some paper and then stamping the rose on top of it in alternating colors. And then I am going to fussy cut these out, and it's not really very fussy because you have that extra halo around it from the ink tool. You can not be very precise and it still looks fabulous. So I love that little technique to kind of save a little time on the cutting. And now I am just going to place these down. I added fun foam to the back of that panel, but you could use dimensional tape, or you could just not add that extra dimension and use glue. I'm figuring out placement for my little roses, and I use a tape runner for most of it, and then the last one, the third one on that bottom corner, I use some foam tape, and then I'm using my fingers to kind of curl up the edges of the flowers to give a little dimension. And now I am going to just accent them with White Blizzard Nuvo drops for some glitzy look, and then I'm adding that to my card base. And there you have my finished card. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.